Hi guys, and welcome back to Ask Rhyce, where I answer your questions about real estate. This week, a really common question we get, and obviously a large part of my job, and that's pricing homes. So how do you price your home? If you're considering selling, or even if you're just trying to get an update, a bit of a feel for what your home could be worth, how do you go about doing that? There's probably two ways that we approach it. From our perspective, there's two prices that I would commonly discuss with owners. First one would be a logical price, what your home should logically be worth. Now, I say logic because it makes sense. Every home should have some sort of logical price. Even if there's a limited amount of comparable sales out there for it, there should be still some sort of indication as to what it could be worth, and whether that's working from a land value and then how much the property costs to build or how much it might cost to rebuild. That can be a good starting point if there's not much in the way of recent sales to back up a value. The second price we talk about is an emotional price. Now, when I say an emotional price, we're talking about an emotional connection from a buyer, and there can be, a significant difference between what someone might think the home is worth logically to what they might be prepared to pay when emotion comes into it. Even in the instance where, there may only be a portion of that that's an emotional decision. It still is most likely based on some logic at some point to justify why they're prepared to pay that price. But in most instances, we're looking at a logical price and an emotional price, and it's that emotional price is where you get the strongest values. So back to the question itself, how do you price your home? It's best to work on logic. If you're making decisions moving forward as to if you have to sell in one location and purchase in another, and you just want to know how much you're going to be able to get out of your current position to move to your first one, you should really just look at that logical price. I would treat the concept of any sort of price beyond that could be an emotional price, as being the icing on the cake, just something a little extra. That little extra could be something significant come sales time. It could really change your life, but I wouldn't be basing my decision in terms of a move on the what if price. I'd be trying to base it around logic, actual sales, where the evidence points that the value should be sitting in the current market. So with a logical price, what are we looking at? With a logical price, we're looking at what's the land value. So we're looking at what size is the land. Have there been any recent sales in your area that you can have a direct comparable to? So like house and land combination. But you're not going to compare something that's maybe a 400 meter square block to a 4,000 meter square block. You really, it's chalk and cheese. You really want to get apples for apples as best you can. So you're looking at the land size. The next one would be to look at it, obviously, the building size. So that could be the overall size of the building. So it could be a 200 meter square building. It could be 250 meters square under roof. Trying to get similar comparable size homes. The next one beyond that, building size, is probably, obviously, location is a key point. You might have there might be sales within your suburb, but maybe one street has a significantly higher value than another street, given it could be views, it could be its position relative to water, or some other amenities that increase the value. So location could be very specific to a street. It could also be just location in terms of the suburb itself. There might also be instances where you're comparing properties that are comparable, but they could be in different locations, but they're comparable because those locations offer the same as each other and they're within a similar radius. So you could have two side-by-side suburbs. Maybe you've got two elevated positions, so two streets in those suburbs that have like lovely elevated views of the city, or lovely outlook. It could be sea views, who knows, but those positions might be comparable as well. But again, we're looking at like logically, how these compare. The other one would be condition. So what sort of condition is the property? Is it new? Has it been renovated? Is it original? Is it dated? Is there damage? Is there structural issues with the property? So condition plays a huge part in what the logical value should be. Because there should be a logical cost to, okay, if it's brand new, well, it's just cost you, say, $1,500 per metre square to build the property. So based on that, if you've got a 200 square metre property, then you can attribute a value to that. If it's renovated, similar story. If it's dated, then you're looking at, okay, well, condition-wise, is everything in good condition, but it's original? Everything's in good condition, then obviously it's going to have a higher value than if everything is original but it's in poor condition, because you've got to bring that back up to I guess a suitable level if someone wanted to renovate it, for example. So there's lots of different variables there, but really we're trying to look at, I guess, harder values in terms of, just logic. Condition, standard of the home. So you might have a new build and a new build, but one of them might be very much what we would refer to as a high-end build. It's got high-end fittings and fixtures, versus a very basic, it might be brand new, but it might have all of the basic boxes ticked. It might tick the boxes as in, it's got the features, surface value, but might be very, very different to a home of a much higher quality. So even if they've got the same square meterage under roof home, those two properties, even if they have the same features, if one is a substantially higher quality and one is a very much a entry level, just basic everything, but it still ticks the boxes, it's still going to be worth a lot less than that higher property. And then just on that, those ones having similar features themselves. So how many bedrooms does it have? How many bathrooms does it have? What's the car accommodation like? Does it have a swimming pool, tennis court? All of those layered on top should help you establish a price that the home should logically be worth. When it comes time for us to sell it, our aim is to get you that emotional or premium price. So we're trying to maximize that logic. But if you're making decisions and you're trying to work out what am I going to get for my home, so that you can make a better decision looking at a new location or upgrading or downsizing your property, try and base your decisions on what makes sense logically. Very dangerous to be looking at, the what if price and basing all of your decisions on that. So common sense, I realise, but guys, I really hope that helps you out, helps you make some better decisions moving forward and gives you a bit more understanding as to how we approach pricing a property, and looking at those the two prices there, so a logical and an emotional price, and how they're both relevant to you moving forward. Guys, if you have any other questions, please post them in the comments below, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.